Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Ultimate Bucket List. And on today's show, I'm here at the home of West Ham United. Is it as bad as everyone says it is? Let's find out. The London Stadium. The main venue for the 2012 London Olympic Games has now been converted as the new home for East London giants, West Ham United. More commonly known as the Hammers, their proud football club and long-suffering fans have experienced a sort of resurgence as of late. Guided by my former gaffer, David Moyes, they now have reasons to be cheerful. But the fans still complain about this brand new stadium. Built in 2012 for the Olympic Games and currently holding 60,000 spectators exactly, what seems to be the problem? After exiting the tube station, you'll see signs pointing you out to Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, which is where the stadium is located, and a short walk past the shopping centre and whoop, there it is. You'll see remnants of the Olympics such as the London Aquatic Centre and this strange structure, which is the Orbit, the former media centre of the Olympics that you can now pay to go up, but I never bothered. Anyway, as soon as you walk closer and closer to the stadium, it gets bigger and wider. And when you're right next to it, yeah, this place is pretty massive. Now guys, let me just address the elephant in the room. Why on earth are you wearing a shirt and tie? Well, I'm here in London for business. I had a meeting this morning, I've got a meeting this afternoon at 3 o'clock at YouTube, and I've got a lovely dinner date tonight at 6. And the only time I can fit in a tour here at the London Stadium is 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, so that's why I'm wearing this. It's easier just to wear this the entire day rather than swap out football shirts or wear a Millwall shirt or a Manchester United shirt or whatever. It's just easier to wear this. So, what's it like? Let's find out. So, before you start your tour, I highly recommend that you have a walk around the perimeter of the stadium. Firstly, to kind of gauge its size, and secondly because there's lots of cool stuff that you can see around the stadium. Such as this wall of famous former players. This guy was a complete legend, obviously. And this guy, Frank Lampard, he must have been rubbish, I've never heard of him. You'll also get to see the athletics track, which I think they used as a warm-up track for the Olympics, and that you could probably use right now. But as you can imagine from a relatively new stadium, it's branded pretty much perfectly. You definitely can't miss this place. They fade and die. Wow, what a strange company slogan. Pretty apt though. Your tour starts right here at the Stadium Store, which is located just outside Gate F. You'll need to walk through the shop, past the gates that they stole from Upton Park, their former stadium, and literally go downstairs. And you'll need to check in with this chap right here where it says London Stadium Tours. There's also a cafe/coffee shop, and you can also have your shirt printed here. You know, if you want to. After a bit of waiting around, you're led upstairs and you actually get to march around the stadium, and Jesus, this is a long walk. Either that or I'm getting really out of shape. The entrance is via the main reception, which is on the opposite side of the stadium. And once you're security checked, they'll give you this cool audio guide. As you can imagine from a relatively new stadium, everything is pretty modern, so if you're looking for a retro stadium, this definitely isn't it. It's about as modern as it gets. After a bit of health and safety, it's up the stairs we go, and the first area that you visit is the Royal East Suite. This is by far the most expensive suite that you can pay for, and has been frequented by the Queen herself. You get a short talk about what goes on in here and who tends to sit in these seats, before being led around the suite to have a short talk about West Ham's history. This is Vicky, by the way. She's our tour guide for today, and she does an excellent job in giving us a brief overview of West Ham's history. Enough of that, it's time to walk out and get your first view of the pitch. And unfortunately, this is not a camera trick. This is how far you actually are away in the fanciest suites in the whole stadium. The pitch is admittedly incredibly far away. I've actually been at pitch level at the old Upton Park, where the fans were literally on top of you. But here, it's pretty much the complete opposite. It looks like the fans are a million miles away, and I think I kind of understand now what the West Ham fans are complaining about. Our tour guide Vicky is actually a season ticket holder here, and after asking her if it bothers her, she doesn't seem to mind, but I believe that she's in the minority. A lot of fans here aren't too pleased about being so far away from the action, and I can understand that. This is an Olympic stadium. It was never really designed for football, and as a result of that, the seats seem very far away. The audio guide gives you a cool video on what it takes to transform this from a football to a baseball stadium, etc. And whilst we're talking about baseball, they have these weird trampolines that separate huge sections of the seating. I've only ever seen that in baseball stadiums. Even the nice seats, the claret ones here right in the middle of the pitch, they're pretty far away from the action. I'm finally beginning to understand why the West Ham fans are complaining about a brand new stadium. Anyway, it's time to go back indoors, learn about some more history, especially pertaining to the Olympic Games, and this is the West Ham trophy room. No, seriously, this is pretty much all they've won, and rather than display them, they've actually just put a kind of wall decoration up. I'm not joking. A short talk about its Olympic history, and you'll see some of the medal winners that have actually won medals here. Mobot. Down the stairs we go, and we walk past the Boleyn Suite, which is one of the corporate hospitality facilities that we don't actually get to see, which is a shame. Past the main reception we go, and into the players' entrance. Now we actually get to stay here a little bit more than the other places, and Vicky tells us all about what happens here on a game day, and also gives us a little bit of a history talk of some of the former heroes of West Ham United. Okay, now it's time to walk into the changing room, and I gotta admit, for a relatively new stadium, this is actually kinda small, and also kind of basic. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still nicer than most of the changing rooms I get to go in myself, but compared to some of the other ones that I've seen, pretty basic. If you want to see information about a specific player, that's what the audio guide is for, but generally, in most stadium tours, you get the shirts with the names on the back, and for some reason they've just put out generic West Ham away shirts, which kind of defeats the whole object of putting a shirt up in the first place. Well, that's my opinion anyway. But fortunately, these are the places that the players actually sit. Right here, this is the only guy that's worth taking a photo with. Obviously I'm biased. We walk past the players' showers and the players' cold tub area very quickly, towards the warm-up area. So, you're halfway through the video and it's competition time. I'm giving you the chance to win this West Ham swag bag that I just bought at the West Ham Club shop. Stick around to the end of the video to find out more, but in the meantime, back to the video. This was the warm-up track for the 2012 London Olympic Games, that West Ham United now use as a warm-up gym. But obviously they've put this out on display, the running bars just in case you want to run down the track, and the London Olympic mascot which kinda looks like a dildo. You get a short talk as to what goes on in here. And, if you want to, there's also a green screen right at the back where you can have your picture taken and they'll sell it to you afterwards. Next up is the tunnel area. Believe it or not, this is the largest tunnel in the Premier League. It's pretty big, and the audio guide is meant to play you I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles, the theme for West Ham United, but unfortunately mine flaked out. It actually stopped working, so this is what my experience sounded like. Yeah, pretty much silence, but let's play the music anyway. This carpet area is nice and all, but it basically highlights the problem even more. That you're a million miles away from the pitch, even on the front row. And you get some cool photo opportunities in the dugout area, on this West Ham logo, which I did, and you get to see the expansiveness of the stadium from down here. I mean, imagine the players looking out into the stands and not really seeing anybody, because they're so far away. So you get plenty of time to take photos and take videos around here, and believe it or not, this is probably the best view of the stadium you're going to get. Alright, back down the tunnel we go, and very briefly into the players' media area. There's plenty of media rooms, but we don't actually get to go in them. Instead, you'll have to make do with this media board right outside. You're led out into the foyer where you can take pictures of some memorabilia and... oh wait, is that it? Believe it or not, that is the end of the tour. You're led out of the door and basically away you go. You'll be walking past the shop anyway to get back to the shopping centre and tube station, so you might as well explore the club shop. You can buy retro shirts from yesteryear. This was a much better logo than the one they have now. And you can buy a whole bunch of West Ham swag if you want to. And there's no shortage of things you can buy because it's a pretty expansive club shop. And this is probably the only shirt worth buying. So I've just completed the tour here at the London Stadium, and whilst this is a very lovely stadium, admittedly you didn't get to see all that much, especially compared to some of the other stadium tours here in London. That said, if you are a West Ham fan, or if you're a fan of Olympic stadiums and you want to see what a multi-purpose venue looks like, I highly recommend doing the tour here. Now, I know what you're going to be asking me because you're also unimaginative. What about Millwall? What about Wembley? Well, Wembley is currently shut until September, so they're not currently doing any tours, especially seeing as though yesterday they hosted the England-Germany game. Come on, England. And Millwall do stadium tours, but only on match days and only to groups of over 15. So it's fair to say that I won't be doing those two anytime soon. So Nin, where does this rank on the hierarchy of stadium tours? Well, somewhere here. The only problem I have with this tour is that you don't get to see all that much. The audio video guide seems a little bit redundant, especially if you've got a tour guide telling you that stuff anyway. There's certainly things that they can improve on, but by no means is it a bad tour. If you're a West Ham fan, I highly recommend that you do this. Okay Nin, I'm sold. What do I need to do? Well, you need to come here to the London Stadium. It's situated in East London, and to get here you'll need to take either the train or the tube to Stratford. Once you exit the station, you'll be met with a shopping centre, and the stadium is literally opposite the street, so it's really not that difficult to find. There's also plenty of places to eat and shop across the street at the shopping centre, so you definitely won't be bored if you come here. The cost to do the tour? I think it was about £27, and for that you get the full guided tour and you get the audio guide, which admittedly felt a little bit redundant, but it's nice to have. If you want to see games here, the best thing to do is go to the West Ham website or go to the ticket office and purchase your tickets there. As far as the price of tickets is concerned, it's actually very reasonable given that this place is in London. Is there anything else I need to know? Yes, because of current COVID regulations, all tours are now completely fully guided. So you used to be able to walk yourself around the stadium, but they've ended that because of the COVID rules. And because of that, you need to book way in advance. They also get you to fill out online a COVID declaration. So if you do forget to fill it out online, you could fill it out on paper when you get here to the stadium. The tour is very safe, there's plenty of hand sanitizers and social distancing, so if you are worried about the COVID, don't be, these guys have got you covered. Special thanks to Vicky who did our stadium tour, she was very good, and if you do get her on one of your tours, be sure to tell her she's internet famous. So guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. Comment on the comment section below, and if you've got any other bucket list ideas, you know what to do, tweet them at me, and if I get enough suggestions, I'll go ahead and do that. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Right, it's competition time guys, and I'm giving you the chance to win this West Ham goodie bag, which consists of this cool embroidered scarf, this double-sided kit keyring, this cool pin badge, a giant fridge magnet, this very nice West Ham shopping bag, and if I get over 100,000 views by the time the competition ends, a West Ham shirt in your size. To enter, click on the link in the description below. Help me share my content to make more of this stuff. Good luck! It's competition time now guys. You're halfway through the video and it's competition time guys. So I'm giving you the chance to win. So you're halfway through the video and it's competition time. I'm giving you the chance to win this West Ham swag bag that I just bought at the West Ham Club shop. Stick around to the end of the video to find out more, but in the meantime, back to the video.